Hello, what's up guys, my name is Alex Gomez and on today's video we're going to sculpt and stylize female character. For more sculpting videos, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I post a video every Friday. Okay, so I decided to do this character and join the challenge of Danny Mac. Danny Mac is so he has like a every 2 weeks challenge of creating like he selects a theme and in his Discord, and I just decided to join and start creating a stylized character. This thing was create like a pinup hacker. I just created a hacker with my style, not as much as a pinup, but anyways, it was really fun. You guys want to follow that challenge, just go for it and do it. So as I'm showing here, I'm just doing the blockout first. You know, if you have a really good blockout, you're gonna have a really good base for your sculpting. So I knew that I was gonna do just the bust. I really been like busy lately doing a lot of work, so I haven't had time to kind of like do a full character body. But this time I'm just gonna do a bust. And good thing I had like some of the subtools already done, like hands and the base head, so that will save me a lot of time when I'm sculpting. So make sure that you have all the proportions good. Once you have all the block out done, I'm gonna jump into the face. The face is just, it takes most of my time. It really takes a lot of time. That's when I spend like probably, I will say around like 60 to 70% of my process is the face. So I've kind of like start getting like some of the features, like the nose, the lips. I create the lips. If you create the nose holes kind of like they have that kind of bean shape. So that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna draw a mask with that shape and then just pull it in. I know the character that right now looks weird. It looks very alienish. It doesn't look as good. And it's normal. You just keep working at it and keep finding the shapes, and you'll see that you're gonna see the results eventually. Just sometimes people are gonna think that they're gonna get the results like right away. I know it takes patience. And mostly when you are creating a character out of imagination like this, when I have a couple of references, mostly on the look of what I wanted to achieve, the final look, but not really as kind of like a character design. I just went and started creating a character from imagination, out of my mind, and see the results. Sometimes that process, it takes a lot longer because you're not gonna be following any reference. For example, like building some planes on the face that you can deconstruct when you have a design. So I keep working on the face here, and I do the eyelids. The way that I do that, I add a subtool. I do a sphere for the eyes, and then I duplicate the sphere and cut it in half. I rotate it, and then I duplicate it, and I cut it and I rotate it all the way down 180 degrees to the eyelids. So you kind of have the same shape and same proportion in the same place. When you have your eyeball, then duplicate it, cut it, add an eyelid, duplicate the eyelid, and just rotate it to the way down. That's the way that I do it. And I say, after I have the eyeballs and the eyelids in place, I just fill up all the kind of like eye sockets per se. Yeah, this is I spend a lot of time like working on the head. I think it's really fun when you start doing these kind of characters, like, you know, getting kind of like expression and a little bit of a personality. It's so satisfying, you know, like creating your own thing. So as you see me, like I go back and forward, working the mouth a little bit, working the nose a little bit. It's not like the first time that you're making the nose is gonna be perfect. No, sometimes it takes a couple of tries. Sometimes you turn around the mouth and say, I don't like the nose how it looks like that, let's change it a little bit. And that happens to me a couple of times. I just keep changing until the end that I decided like this is the right nose that fit kind of like the personality and the shapes and the facial expressions of my character. Moving into the ears are a little bit complicated to do. I find like one of the challenging parts of a human head, but in this case it's stylized, and so I'm not gonna put a lot of detail. And I knew for a fact that I was gonna put this character in a hoodie. So with the hoodie, like you wouldn't see the ears at all, so I just make them just in case. It's just still a good practice to make them. So as you see, I just go back and forth, just work a little bit in this, work a little bit in that, just kind of creating a good expression, because when you don't have that design, as I mentioned before, I have probably like the idea in my mind of what I want to reach, and that's why I go back and forth and change things. So for the eyebrows, a lot of people use the polygon brush, but mostly I like to use draw them and extract them, just draw them as a mask and extract them. Yeah, it's sometimes it's kind of like easier to do it with a polygon tool, but I just like to kind of like have the feeling of drawing. I like to have the feeling of Zbrush, that you're not actually having the feeling that you have, for example, you're working in Maya, that is just polygon modeling, which is so different. That's why I enjoy a lot the Zbrush workflow. So yeah, after I extract, I definitely do a series measure, and I series mesh the eyelids. And as you see, I still keep working on the shape of the eyes, and then I move to the mouth and I keep working on it until I feel that it's looking better and it's looking kind of like the way that I want to go. And even until the last minute that I was doing this sculpt, I was still changing some of her expressions or her facial expressions. So don't worry if the things doesn't look good, like along the way you keep working at it, it's gonna look good. Then I'm gonna, in this case, I decided to start doing the hoodie, and I did it in 3 parts. First the hood, then the kind of like the sweater, and then the arms. I Dynameshed the hood and the sweater, and I left separate the arms just in case I was gonna move them. As you can see, I moved the right arm just to get kind of like my final pose, but that was too straightforward, too straight. So I ended up changing the position of the arm, as you can see after. In the meantime, I started working more on the hoodie, kind of like giving it a little bit more of a thickness around the hood in the face area. So it doesn't look like an arm, but it looks like a more stylized hood. And pretty much the brushes that I was just using, as you can see here, I changed the shape of the arm. Like it was too straightforward, wasn't going like was kind of like a stop. My idea of this character was kind of like a touching a digital screen, kind of like that you kind of see something futuristic. So that's why I decided to put this pose like that. So once I'm happy with the result of the hoodie, and adding some shapes to it, kind of like like rounded the shapes, I started adding some colors, like for example the eyes, the hood as well, the eyebrows. And this is a different technique that I used to do the eyelashes, just with another sub tool. I didn't like it as much. Well, it didn't take that long to make it, but I kind of like a rather just a mask, as I did in the lower eyelash that you're gonna see now. I just mask it, extract, series measure, and then just start modify it. I find like I had a better result. It didn't take that long with this one. And as well, I added the hair. I start playing with some colors, kind of like color of the hair. I think it adds a lot to the character. So in this case, I wanted to go with an orange, but you know me, I change a lot. I change my characters along the process, independent of what I'm feeling at the moment. If it feels and it's okay to do that, you don't have to stick just with that color, and if you don't feel that color is working, just change it. And if you feel that the one that you change it is not working, just go back to it. And it's a back and forward process. So moving into the head, I was just working in the head, and I did the two sides, as you can see. Like after orange, I moved to black, and I find like a black colored hair was given it like more like a deep of a hacker of you know, like a more deep web kind of thing. And I added some hairs there that they were pointing out, but at the end I decided to remove it because my idea was kind of like to create like a force field going around, so kind of like the hairs were levitating, but I just that idea didn't work at all, so I just ended up going back to it and just remove it and create like a new set of hairs for that side, which I'm happy about it because I think it worked much better to it. Add some details to the hand because the hand is gonna be in front of the camera. Also, I open up the fingers a little bit so you can see that she's touching the screen. So it's about almost like the same brushes that I use over and over in this case. And I was really happy with the result. I really think like practicing this kind of character like once a week or once every 2 weeks, you really develop your skills as a sculpting artist. So yeah, comment whether or not you'd like to enter 2-3 challenges. I think it's a great idea to keep growing as an artist, and please visit my current store for more in-detail content. I have some awesome videos as well that is gonna speed up your creation process. Take care guys, and have an amazing day.